Certainly there is a new buzz in the air around New England. It's not just because the Leaves are looking nice, but it's because the Patriots are looking nice. Biggest win in years on Sunday Night Football the other night. And we talked about Drake May and Stephon Diggs and what they mean to this team. But how about where it all starts? And that is with Mike Vrabel. So without any further ado, we bring Sophie Weller of the Patriots Wire onto the program. Sophie just wrote a great piece yesterday about Mike Vrabel and how this feels different. And I don't want to be like jumping overboard here, Sophie. It's one win. They're 3-2, and that's fantastic. But why does it feel like the vibes are different with Mike Vrabel at the wheel here? Oh, we might have you muted, Sophie. You might have your mic muted.
Oh my gosh, sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
Tuesday. It feels like a Monday. I'll go with that excuse.
I get that.
Too busy watching film review, as I said. That's why I was running late. So.
That's it. We get you.
I guess it's a good excuse, you know. No, I think with Vrabel, you can tell the confidence that the team has in each other and in their coach. They know that when this guy comes in, whenever he says something, it's for them and it's to make sure. I mean, anytime Vrabel has made a post-game speech when they, post like the game balls or things like that, the first thing he's said each and every time is, this is about you guys. This isn't about me. And I think that really resonates with the players. I think another point too was like over the summer when he was jumping in fights for the, at training camp.
Bloodied Mike Vrabel.
You should have seen the way the players talked about him after those moments. I mean, this is a guy who's putting it all out on the line for his players, and they know that. They know that they're number one in their coach's eyes, and that, he's going to do whatever he can. He doesn't care about himself. All he cares about is his players and his team. And that win was so symbolic of just what Mike Vrabel has built, because as much as, yes, it was a great game by Drake May, it was Stephon Diggs who's emerging as that wide receiver one. It was also a true team effort. And I think that's the culture Vrabel has built, is that we're not relying on one guy to win us games here and there. I mean, Ramondre fumbles and then goes in and scores the only 2 touchdowns of the night.
Yeah.
I think many people, everyone wanted him benched. I mean, the last one, he got booed when his name was announced as a starter. Yet Vrabel knows that, like, it's an issue, and he's not shying away from the fact that the fumbling is an issue. But he also knows, like, if we're going to win a game, we need Ramondre Stevenson, and he's not wrong. It's that faith in his players, the same way Andy misses the extra points, and then that same game nails like a 50-yard field goal, and they win the game in Miami. Goes last night, on Sunday night, nails the field goal. They win the game. And so it's just that faith he has in his players. I can't speak highly enough about just what he's done in that building, because it's a real change.
It's funny you mentioned that. Like, we've talked about that the last couple of days. A lot of us Patriots fans, sons and daughters of Belichick, so to speak, the last 25 years, we see that. We see Ramondre fumble again, and you're just like, cut him. Just cut him. We're done. Like, that's what Bill would have done. And instead, Mike Vrabel's kind of putting the arm around, and you start to hear these players after the game talking about how they love how tough he is during the week, but how much he can be with you because he's been in those spots. And I think to like the last 5 or 6 years, I guess, when looking at new NFL coaching hires and the teams that succeed, it's a lot about the offensive guys, right? The offense, the Sean McVays, even the Andy Reids, is a bit more old school, but definitely offensive. And then I look at it and I'm like, well, yeah, but those guys and, Ben Johnson in Chicago and Dan Campbell in Detroit, like those guys are also like real players, coaches. Like that's the other thing that we hear. So is it so much the offense or is it the players coach? And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like we're seeing that with Mike Vrabel, who probably is a bit more defensive minded because that's where he's coached and that's where he played. But it's more so that trust in the players. I think that's unifying them.
Player-wise, yes, more defensive-minded, but I will tell you, this is a guy who, like, during training camp, what stuck out the most to all of us was, like, it almost was like he had, not a time machine, but he was just able to, like, bop from place to place to place. He was everywhere. He'd be with the offensive line 1 minute, then he's with the safeties, then he's over with the wide receivers, and then he's with the defensive line. Like, it was the craziest thing of just the way he would move around. And so that's another thing is he knows everything that's going on. Even special teams, he works close. I have a feeling he worked very closely with Jeremy Springer to know what's going on there. And it's just, this is his team. Yeah. But also he has faith in his coaches. He has this perfect balance of just, he knows that Josh McDaniels, there's no one better. When that was the hiring, there was the fear that Drake has had 4 offensive coordinators in 4 years, because 2 at Carolina, 2 now with the Patriots. But bringing in Josh was the right call, because that is someone who has experience. Yes, you have the Tom Brady. You can look at that resume, but also don't forget Mac Jones was a Pro Bowl quarterback his first year in New England, and that was Josh McDaniels as offensive coordinator. And there was that video, I think it was from the Panthers win, of the 2 of them on the sidelines, and I think Drake or one of them was mic'd up, and Josh just kind of looks and is like, we got this. Like, they just have this like bond that's forming on the sidelines. Zach Kerr, I mean, that's a situation with the defense where your defensive coordinator is away for all of the spring, now is away, he's involved with the team, but he's serving it seems more of an advisor role.
Yeah.
Given everything that's happening. And yet Zach Kerr steps in. You would think like Vrabel would be like all over that. No, Zach Kerr's leading things. Like, he has faith in these guys, and it's that culture. It's the same way he has faith in his players, even when they might mess up or when they have an issue. And that has now trickled down into the players, because when you heard like Stephon Diggs speak about Ramondre Stevenson after the win against the Bills, he was like, I told Ramondre, like, okay, you fumbled. It's going to happen.
A lot of game left. Yeah.
A lot of game left. And he scored 2 touchdowns. It's just, there's no anger within like the team of these like mistakes. It's like, we've all made them, but we can all fix them.
And putting all of that together, how Vrabel's reacted, how the players have reacted, and the way that we've seen this team play through 5 games, what is the biggest, how has this team's identity changed the most from what was kind of a circus last year in the Gerard Mayo era to Mike Vrabel 5 games through this year?
I want to say confidence. That's the first word that comes to my mind. Is I just think everyone is confident in themselves, and they're confident in each other. And I think that was somewhat, missing last year. Was like, obviously there's the confidence in Drake May because he was your 3rd overall pick and he showed that. But it's, the wide receiver room, there's a confidence there, I think a lot of people didn't know if the Stephon Diggs signing was the right call, given that, like, he's coming off an ACL injury. I thought that was a great signing from the start. I did. Because also, do you think they were getting like a Jamar Chase level player? Like, no, they're the Patriots. They're 4 wins back-to-back seasons. Like, they need someone who's looking to prove themselves, and they found that with Stephon Diggs. And look what happens in the last 2 games. You have a guy who's proven himself, and you have him now for 3 years. Good job.
Yeah.
So it's just that confidence that Vrabel is building, and also just like he's brought in players that already kind of have that. Like Milton Williams, very confident player. You can see it in the way he plays. And there's more to go. That's just the first one that popped in my head, but he's filled this locker room with a mix of younger guys with so much potential, but also some veterans that have a lot of confidence and a lot of leadership experience. And it's just like the perfect match.
And it's easy to talk about all of this now and see how positive it's been when they're 3-2 and just come off a big win. But you were also there at training camp, and there were still a ton of questions around. Diggs was in and out of practice. They were wondering about his health, and obviously he had the situation back in May, Memorial Day weekend. Drake May did not look great during certain times of camp. The offensive line didn't look great, which it still is throughout the first 5 games of the season. So was this something you were seeing in camp as well, or is that something that's more developed through the games?
Yeah, I mean, with Drake, it's so hard to judge based off of like training camp or like practices and stuff, because he's someone who just like totally rises to the occasion in games. So like I wasn't, there was no like, you're watching these training camp practices and everyone's like, oh my God, looking at like the stats. And it's like, you have to remember though, he's going up against a defense who's kind of knows the ins and outs of everything. And they're doing a lot of the same things. Like in a game situation, Drake's a whole different animal. I mean, who gets pulled down to the ground and makes that throw to Stephon Diggs and gets a first down? Like there's not many quarterbacks in this league who could probably pull that off. And he did. Yeah. He did that.
We're on one hand. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, Mike Vrabel's reaction, I asked him about that yesterday, and his reaction was hysterical. He was like, oh my God, we're going to, we're losing yards. And then it's like, oh, we got a first down. But it's, yeah, I'm like going on my tangents. I have to like, what was the question again? Remind me.
It was just, did you see any of the seeds of this through training camp?
Training camp. Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted by the Drake May throw and totally.
We all do. I get that.
No, I mean, yes, the offensive line was a bit of a question mark, and especially just because you had the two rookies on the left side. That's not done often in the National Football League. Normally, you'd want a veteran next to them. No, Vrabel's like, these are our two guys. That's our best players. We're going to put them. And Will Campbell has, wow.
Kid can play.
That kid can play, and he's showing everyone, like, whatever you thought of my arm length, like, go away. Because that doesn't play a factor anymore.
Yeah.
So that was a question. I always thought this defense could be dominant from the moment I saw them at training camp. It's a different defense when you put Christian Gonzalez in, for sure, in that secondary. But him and Carlton Davis, you saw the flashes of just having that tandem duo. Or even actually, as he said yesterday, it's not just two of them, it's three of them, because you got to put Marcus Jones in that group.
Yeah.
He's playing lights out on defense and on special teams. So it's just it's kind of like you knew you had this individual talent in all these different positions, but now 5 games into the season, you're seeing them playing as a team. I feel like that Miami win, the first game in that third game against the Steelers, it was more individual. You see the flashes, but we're not playing as a team yet. And then you come into the Panthers game, and this is a team. This is a team playing together. Bills, you're not beating the Bills if you're not playing like a team, and you played like one. I don't care. Yes, it wasn't the Bills' best game. You could say that, but the Patriots won that game. They came in and did plenty of good things to, beat Josh Allen and the Bills. And that shouldn't be taken away just because people are saying the Bills had a rough game. That happens. It's the National Football League.
And I think we'll look back on those 2 losses already and just look back in a couple of weeks and be like, man, how did those get away? And that's probably a good position to be in for a team that's won 8 games the last 2 years. I don't want to get too ahead of myself on this next one, but it's certainly going to sound like it. We have seen in the Robert Kraft era with the Patriots, we've seen him succeed with the hard asses, right? Parcells and Belichick. Fail with the nice guys, Pete Carroll and Gerard Mayo. Not saying that Mike Vrabel is going to take them to a Super Bowl just yet, but does this feel like just a good enough mixture of both?
Yeah, I mean, as I've been saying, it's the thing with Vrabel is that he is that like hard ass coach. He doesn't take crap from any of the players, anything. Like if you do something wrong, he's going to put you in your place. If you step out of line, be afraid. Yeah. At the same time, he's sat in those chairs. He knows exactly what it feels like to be a player in this league and to have a hard ass coach because he played for Bill Belichick. So it's the perfect mixture because I think you need a little bit of a hard ass coach. That's this league. Yeah. You can't get away with everything that you do. You need someone who's going to discipline you. But at the same time, he disciplines you, but also has faith in you. Like you saw it, like Ramondre, he sat out, I think like the first 2 or 3 plays after the fumble, and Antonio Gibson came in. Then he comes back in, kind of, okay, I have faith in you. That was like your little, now go in and prove them all wrong. Yeah. He has that mixture of both it clicks with this team, because it's, they're afraid of him, but they also love him. Just like, I feel like that's like your parents. Like it's how
exactly. Yeah,
exactly. Like my mom, I'm like terrified of her, but also like she's my best friend. Like it's the perfect mix.
That's what it's like. Mike Vrabel is team mom. I think that's the way to put it. Patriots mom, Mike Vrabel. Anyway, Sophie, thanks so much for joining. But before we get you out of here, do want to give you a chance. You are churning out stories all day for Patriots Wire at AZ Sports. Just tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, it's you see my name right up there. It's Sophie Weller at Sophie Weller on Twitter, but it's 2 E's and 2 R's because 1 E and 1 R was taken.
Can't believe that.
I know someone took it from me, so we had to pivot, had to call an audible on that one. So yeah, I post all my stories there for Patriots stuff. I'm also there all during the week for practices and on game days. So
awesome. Well, Sophie, thank you so much for joining the show. Really appreciate it. And guys, definitely go check out how Mike Vrabel's building something special, because we're starting to believe it. We certainly are. Sophie, thanks so much again.
Thank you so much.
There she goes. Sophie Weller, Patriots Wire, AZ Sports. Definitely check it out. Loved the story about Mike Vrabel. And like I said, she's churning it out all the time, man. So much Patriots content, more than you could shake a stick at, I think is what my grandfather used to say.